Hey Dolphins Nation! Welcome back to the channel, where we bring you all the latest on our Miami Dolphins. It's been a rough season so far, but the Dolphins are constantly looking for ways to improve. Every decision they make aims to get the team back on track, even when it doesn't seem that way on the surface. Before we dive into today's hot topic, the trade deadline, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Every like, every subscribe, shows your support for more in-depth Dolphins news and helps us keep these conversations going with you. Now, let's talk about the big news, or rather, the lack of it. The NFL trade deadline has come and gone, and our Miami Dolphins made absolutely no moves. No trades, no big pickups, nothing. Instead of strengthening their future, Miami's front office stayed put, holding on to a roster that currently sits at a disappointing 2-6. Fans are understandably frustrated, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. This isn't a team on the cusp of a playoff berth. This is a team that's struggling. So, why not make some moves to set up for a better 2025 and beyond? A lot of fans feel that by standing pat, GM Chris Grier and the rest of the Dolphins brass missed an opportunity to show a real vision for the future. Let's break it all down and try to figure out where this decision, or lack of one, leaves the Dolphins. With a record of 2-6, many fans expected Miami to act as sellers at the trade deadline, potentially trading some veterans or players who won't be part of the long-term plan. It would make sense to trade away a few guys, even for late-round picks, to add some fresh prospects for the future. There were rumors that other teams called Miami about players like Calais Campbell, a 38-year-old defensive lineman on a one-year contract. Trading Campbell, even for a 6th or 7th round pick, could have added a valuable draft asset. But instead, Miami kept him. For some fans, this move, or lack of action, feels like the front office is stuck in denial. The idea of turning things around and going on a run to somehow make the playoffs is far-fetched at best. Chris Grier seems to believe that holding on to veteran players will help the team salvage the season, but for many fans, this decision feels like a missed opportunity to prepare for the future. Why hang on to a player who might retire at the end of the year when you could trade him for a draft pick that could help the Dolphins build a more competitive team down the road? One thing that has become painfully clear is that many Dolphins fans are losing faith in the current front office. Some of you have been vocal about how Grier and his team seem out of touch with the needs of this roster. The Dolphins didn't address the backup quarterback situation in the offseason, even after seeing struggles from Skylar Thompson and Mike White. Nor did they make significant moves to improve the offensive line, which has been a known issue for multiple seasons now. And let's not forget the defense. While our secondary has shown promise, it took 9 weeks before we even saw an interception. Injuries are also an issue. Key players like Jevon Holland, Zach Sealer, and Bradley Chubb have all missed time, and their returns are still up in the air. Yet the front office still clings to the hope that this season can be saved. For many fans, this feels more like wishful thinking than a solid strategy. It's almost as if the front office isn't watching the same games we're all seeing every Sunday. According to Diana Russini of The Athletic, the Dolphins were getting inquiries about several players, including Campbell. But in the end, they held on to everyone. For a team struggling in almost every area, from offense to defense, trading away a veteran or two could have provided Miami with additional picks and some flexibility moving forward. For example, Calais Campbell. He's nearing retirement, and while he's been productive in limited snaps, he's not going to be part of Miami's future. Trading him could have added a draft pick. Jordan Poyer, another veteran who might not be in Miami's long-term plans, especially with his injury history. Emmanuel Ogbah. Ogbah has shown flashes but hasn't been the game-changer Miami hoped for. Moving him could have freed up cap space or brought in a late-round pick. These types of moves wouldn't necessarily hurt the Dolphins this season, as they're already struggling. But by adding extra draft picks, the front office could have started building a more solid foundation for future years. It's like they're playing checkers while other successful franchises play chess, always thinking 3 moves ahead. For fans hoping for a big move to reignite the season, the deadline came as a disappointment. Head coach Mike McDaniel continues to stress improvement and growth, but at 2-6, it's difficult to stay optimistic. The loss to the Buffalo Bills was another tough pill to swallow, especially with Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Waddle showing some spark on offense. But even in games where the offense steps up, defensive lapses and untimely penalties have cost Miami dearly. And while McDaniel talks about no moral victories, the team's progress seems to stall just when it matters most. Next week, Miami faces the Los Angeles Rams, and while it's tempting to hope for an upset, recent performances don't inspire much confidence. Even if Miami manages a few more wins, making the playoffs is extremely unlikely. So the question remains, why not focus on building for the future now? Dolphins Nation, we want to hear from you. Do you think Miami made the right call by standing pat at the trade deadline, or was this a missed opportunity to set the team up for a better future? It's a heated debate, and there's no doubt that emotions are running high. Some fans think the front office doesn't see the writing on the wall, while others hold out hope that Miami's fortunes can still turn around with a few more wins. Here are a few questions we'd love for you to answer in the comments. Should Miami have made some trades to get additional draft picks? Do you have faith in Chris Grier and the current front office? What moves do you think could improve the team for 2025 and beyond? Let us know your thoughts. And as always, if you enjoyed this breakdown, give us a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll keep bringing you all the latest updates on our Dolphins, and we can't wait to see what the future holds. Until next time, fins up!